Right, so here is the Camelot wheel and our harmonic mixing table. So on the right here, we have the wheel, and it works like a clock basically, 1 all the way around to 12, but each number corresponds to a musical key. So here we have 12B, which is an E major, and we have 12A, which is D flat minor. Next to that, we have 1B, which is B major, and 1A, which is A flat minor. Now, I'm not musically trained by any means, so I'm not very good with knowing my scales, but this wheel has made it so simple to work that out. So we can go around the clock. So 12A will work with a 1A and it will work with an 11A, but it will also work with the 12B. So we can kind of work through our mixes, keeping it in key, and everything should sound really tight. But we can also go opposite. So 12A, we can go to a 6A. Say we was at 2, we could go to an 8A, and so on. So we can kind of flip it around. On the decks, when we analyze our tracks in Rekordbox, we can have it so it has this numeric code next to it. So when we're flicking through, say we just want to mix in key, we can do that. But it also really helps if you've only got like a minute left of the track and you're like, what am I going to play? And say you're in a 5A, you can quickly look through what's in that playlist that's at 5A, and it's almost a little cheat code, and you can mix that one in, and it's probably going to sound quite nice. But little reminder, always use your ears to listen whether it sounds right first, because even though this rule says it should work, it might not sound great. So always use your ears first. And also, this rule, it's just a guide. It can help you. But something that's not in this rule also still might sound amazing. So trust your own judgment, trust your ears, because if it sounds right, it's probably right. So it's all good. Now, let's go on to this more intense table. Now, I've not actually really seen or heard anyone using this in the way I do. I mean, they might do, but this is the way I use it, and it really helps to keep the energy of my sets to keep pumping and pumping. Now, here we have along the side our numbers of the Camelot wheel, and next to it, say let's just use 6A for an example here. Let's go across 6A. So 6A, a perfect match, a 5B would work. Then we can see here we've got the plus, so an energy boost would be a 6B or a 7A. Then more of an energy boost would be a 3A. Then even more, an 8A or a 1A. Next to that, we have energy drops, what would come down, so 5A, 9, 4, 11, or a mood change 9B. Now, it's very hard to remember all of those numbers. So let's just remember the energy boosters, because I don't necessarily, in my sets, want to be pulling the energy back anyway. Not saying that if you mix one of them, it still might sound fine. It's not going to make it be like, ugh. But let's just try this little rule that I use that helps things just keep sounding like it's pumping. So let's use 6A for the example. 5B obviously works, but let's go for the energy boost. So going up 1 works. Now, going from 6, if we go back 3, that works. So back 3 from 6 to 3A. Going up 2, so from 6A to 8A is a boost. And going back 5 to 1A is a boost. So in my head, I just have this now. So I have back 3, up 2, back 5. And that's always going to keep things sounding like the energy keeps flowing, keeps pumping. So another example, let's go to 10. Now, a 9B works, perfect match. A 10B and 11A work. But now this other rule, going back 3 to 7A, up 2 to 12A, and back 5 to 5A. So if you just remember 3, 2, 5. 3, 2, 5. I almost got it tattooed on me once so I'd remember it, but I've somehow remembered 3 numbers. So let's do another one. 8. Now, if we go back 3 from 8, so we get 5. We go up 2 from 8, so we get 10. And we go back 5 from 8, and we get 3. So it's a weird way of remembering how to keep that energy rising using the Camelot wheel, and it just keeps things harmonic, keeps them sounding tight. Again, like I said, always use your ears first, because even though it's in that rule, it's still something might not sound right in it. So ears above everything, but these rules are just there to like another aid to help you smash your mixes out, basically. Now this Camelot wheel and harmonic mixing table, I'm going to drop that in the description. If you can't find it somehow, then give the Camelot wheel and harmonic mixing table a search and you should find this. But also, if I just exit off this, if you go to the Mixed In Key website, now this will explain it all in writing. So if you kind of want to go through this and just read about it in a different way, then you can go through here. But it's also a service, and you don't need to buy it. Basically, you don't bother with that, wasting your money, because just looking at that table and the wheel, it's going to help you. You've got it there. Remember the clock face, and remember you can go one to the side from an A to a B in the same number, and you can also flip across the clock face directly opposite. And yeah, the back 3 up 2 back 5, that rule works perfectly. So yeah, there's mixing in key and harmonic mixing. I'm sure I'll talk about it more a bit later as we're going through tracks and working out what works with what, but for now on, let's move on.